So it's been about a month since I took the bar exam, and my body feels like it's still recovering from the exam. It seems like studying 8 to 10 hours every single day, Monday through Friday for 10 weeks straight, takes a toll on your body. And because of that, I decided to unplug from YouTube for a while. But after seeing my analytics drop about 90%, I decided it was time to come back and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with the bar exam. So let's start with the good. Now, I have to give myself props because for the most part, I actually was on track with the schedule that the bar exam course gave me. There's actually a lot of different bar courses out there. From what I've read and talked to other people that took different bar courses, there's not too much of a difference. Seems like the biggest difference is actually the price tag. The biggest two is Barbary and Themis. I took Themis. The main reason was that there was a lot of Themis representatives at my school, and I had a lot of friends that were Themis representatives. Now, Themis gave me the bar course free. But that's only because I signed up through my employer, and my employer basically paid the bill for me. And on top of that, Themis also gave me a gift card. I'm pretty sure Barbary had a very, very similar deal. Now, would I recommend Themis? In my honest opinion, I think you should just go with the bar course that is the cheapest and the one that provides the most benefits. I generally think they're all overpriced, but that's a discussion for another day. Now, the biggest issue with Themis, to me at least, and I'm pretty sure to everybody that took Themis this summer, was the somewhat frequent crashes it had. It seems like Themis didn't really account with how many people were going to enroll in their bar courses, that their servers literally crashed on the first day that we were scheduled to start. And it really sucks because these bar courses emphasize how we should stay on track, stay on schedule, but then we can't do it because their own website crashes. And worst of all is that they didn't really try to make it up to us. Like, sure, they apologized, but there was no refund, there was no gift card, nothing. It was just like, sorry, we're gonna try to fix it. Then it happened again, then they would say sorry, then they would try to fix it, and then it happened again. It was ridiculous. Someone who actually likes to do all their errands and likes to study early in the morning, the fact that it would crash during that time, I felt like I lost half a day. But now let's really talk about what I meant by the good. I briefly mentioned that these bar courses, they give you a schedule that they would like for you to follow. Your day-to-day schedule was a combination of reading outlines, taking practice exams, and watching lectures. I started a week before the start date that they gave us because I kind of wanted to be a bit ahead. You know, that way I had some flexibility in case something came up during the summer. To my surprise, I actually stayed on top of things and followed the schedule basically to a T. My firm was able to give me a living stipend that basically covered my rent, so I didn't have to work, nor did I have to take care of any family members. So there really wasn't any excuse for me to not give 110% of my time. I say to my surprise because I just thought that I was going to lose motivation, because even though I had all the time in the world, it does become very boring and tiresome to just stare at a screen and study for 8 to 10 hours. The thing that actually kept me going was the fact that I knew that there was others that weren't in my position and weren't fortunate enough to have that living stipend, that they had to work or they had to take care of family members or had kids of their own. It would just completely be unfair, the fact that I had all of these blessings and I wouldn't take advantage of it and just goof off and not actually take the exam seriously, when there's others that are in a worse position that have to do a lot more sacrifices and they are giving their 110%. And that thought process is what got me to actually go in finishing about 90% of the bar exam course. And I know 90%, right? It's 10% less. I should have done the 100%. Well, yeah, I probably should have, but it got tough very much at the end because I started focusing less on what Themis would tell me to do on day-to-day and focus a lot more on the parts of the law that I didn't know too well and try to actually memorize the law a lot more because I realized that I wasn't really memorizing the law that well. So I had to adjust at the very end. But with that said, Themis recommends that you at least finish 75% because they say that after 75%, I think you have like an 80% chance of passing. And like part of me wishes that I got to the 100% because I'm just a completionist like that. And I really wanted to just see that 100, but I also knew I couldn't let that completionist in me hurt me, especially because I knew there was other aspects of the exam that I needed to focus on that Themis' course wasn't really helping me on. And now that we're on the topic of the completion percentage thingy, where you can see your progress over the summer, and every single day they would auto-generate what you should be doing in the day to complete a certain amount of percentage. That is something that I would actually categorize as quote-unquote bad. I think that this system kind of sucked because it just gave you unnecessary stress about feeling the need to complete everything. Now, there is the flex study option where you don't necessarily have to follow every single thing that they tell you to do. and you just have the option of choosing whatever it is that you want to do in the day. But it's not like it completely gets rid of that percentage. You still see it every single time you log in or you refresh the page or you go to the home page. It's still there. And it becomes really bad, especially when you start talking to your friends and start comparing how far into the course you're in. Or even if you're just literally on the day you're supposed to, but your friends just decide to go and move ahead, you feel that need to catch up, when in reality you should just really focus on what you need to improve on, because everybody's different. Everybody has different methods of learning and everybody learns at different rates. And some topics are going to be easier for you, some topics are going to be easier for other people. So having that quote unquote objective percentage rate, even though literally everything about it, everything about learning is subjective, can hurt your morale. I also think that it could potentially give you a false hope or false idea that you're doing well. And I'll give my example with this. At the very beginning, like I said, I was very much on top of things. I was checking all the boxes. I liked that feeling. It helped boost my morale. But because I was following the schedule to a team, I would do some individual studying, but maybe not as much as I should have, because I was strictly following the schedule and thought that that was going to be enough. Like, I felt fairly confident when them saying that, if you just get to 75%, you should be in a good place to take the exam. So I really believed in that, and I would just check off the boxes, do what I needed to do, and then move on. That would lead at the very beginning to me having really short days. But towards the end, at least halfway through the 2 months, I've noticed that I really should have focused a lot more on memorizing and going over and reviewing certain aspects of the law. In hindsight, I should have known this. Maybe it's something super obvious. Maybe nobody has this problem. But the thing is that even when you would put your own take and you do your own things when it came to studying, if you were to miss these daily tasks, they would pile on. And you could see how bad it would get, especially towards the end when you were getting closer to the exam day, where people noticed that they should really focus on other things and they stopped following Themis. And literally Themis would recommend them, the next day, that they had to complete 10% of the bar exam course in a single day. And that would hurt anybody's morale. The fact that you feel like you have to do 10%, but you just literally do not have the time in the day, because at the same time you have to do your own individual studying, because there's one particular topic of the law that it just does not get in your head properly, and you just need to actually just focus on it and read it over, but you're still not understanding properly. But you have to try to focus on the things that you need help the most, and it's just hard. It was just hard to balance it all. Like, if it was me, and take everything I say with a grain of salt, the way I think I would design the bar exam course is I would focus a lot more on the practical exams, both for the MBEs and the essays, and have those be those mandatory daily tasks, and just have the outlines there and the lectures there as just like optional, in the sense that like recommend it, but don't put in part of that completion rate, because like you learn a lot more from taking practice exams than actually just watching lectures or outline. Like, I gave up on reading outlines after like week 2, because I realized it would take so much time. There was so much unnecessary information in those outlines that I needed to actually stop doing the passive learning and go into the active learning and taking these practice exams. So I stopped reading outlines after week 2. Maybe there are people out there who really, really need the outlines and needed to read those. They'll still be there. I'm not taking away any material. There shouldn't be taking any material. And then the lectures there, the lectures I think are fine. Maybe still keep them as mandatory. But at least the thing that I really didn't like was the fact that we had to fill out these worksheets. Now, yeah, obviously you can put them to the side and not actually look at the worksheets at all. But like, you wanted to reference those worksheets, because those were materials that kind of summarized the outlines in a way that would make everything a lot more digestible. But the fact that you had to fill in the blank to a lot of things, and you had to watch lectures to be able to fill those in, and that you would sometimes miss what they said and you would have to go back and rewatch like the last 5-10 seconds, it was dumb. If they were to just give us those worksheets completely filled, then it wouldn't be a problem, being honest with you. I think they do it like this because they're just trying to justify the price. So that was the bad. Now let's talk about the ugly. For those who don't know, bar exam is 2 days. Day 1, at least in California, is all essays. Day 2 is the MBEs, which is just multiple choice questions. So I got a hotel to stay near the test center because somebody paranoid me, saying that what happens if your car breaks down? Or what happens if there's an accident and you're late? So I didn't really want to drive 30 minutes to the test center and decided to just pay up, get a hotel that was literally a block away from the test center. Slept on Monday, woke up Tuesday, had my breakfast before the exam, went to the exam early, took the test, felt fairly confident about the essays. I was like, could have been worse, Okay, I'm okay with this, except for one particular essay that I think I failed that one. Like I think I didn't get a passing grade. I don't know. We'll see. But I put what I could put and I just left it as that. But okay, the ugly. Day 2. I couldn't sleep. And I think this was my biggest error. My biggest error is that because I actually felt fairly good about the first day, I then became overly confident for the second day. Because over the entire summer, the MBEs, the multiple choice, were my strong suit. Okay? I was doing terrible on the essays all summer. But the MBEs is where I was actually doing so well. So I was really, really nervous about day 1. I was nervous about that Tuesday. But the fact that after the first day, after the essays, I felt good about him, that gave me a huge boost in morale. Maybe a little bit too much, because I didn't study as much as maybe I should have, or at least gone over things as much as I should have, because I was happy. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was happy. So then I go to sleep, and I wake up fairly early, eat my breakfast, a lot more calm, less anxious than the first day. I check out of the hotel, put all my stuff in the car in the parking lot. I walk to the test center, and I look around, and there's literally nobody around me. Like, it was completely empty. I didn't see a bunch of people like I did the day before just walking up to the test center. It was literally just me in the street walking to the test center. And I really thought to myself, I'm early. No, I wasn't. I wasn't early at all. I walk inside the test center and then I see the whole room just filled with people already in their seats, ready to take the exam. With the lady who gave the instructions the day before already giving the instructions. I didn't oversleep, but it seems like I misheard what time we needed to be in the auditorium, what time we needed to be in the test center, and I just simply showed up late. I showed up not too late, but I showed up late. I showed up about 20 minutes after the time that I should have shown up. Thankfully for me, the exam hadn't started yet, but it literally started 5 minutes after I sat down. So when I saw everybody just already ready to take the exam, I just sped to my seat, sat down. I was sitting next to my friend, and my friend literally told me that she was worried about me because where was I? It's not like me to just miss an exam. So it's she thought something happened to me, and I was like, I kid you not, I really thought they told us to come in now. I didn't think they told us to come in 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. I don't know. And my heart was beating so hard. Thankfully, the exam hadn't started yet. But I was still feeling all this, I don't even know what to call it, adrenaline rush, nervousness, anxiety. It's I couldn't really believe that I would make a mistake this big on what is probably the most important exam of my life. And so I did probably terrible in the morning session of that day because I couldn't think straight. I started reading the first question and I just kept reading it and nothing. I couldn't understand anything because I kept thinking to myself, how can I be such of a dumbass to show up late? Thankfully, I actually finished all the questions, but I guessed on a lot of them. Later people were saying, that a lot of people were guessing, but I genuinely think I was guessing because I couldn't really comprehend anything that I was reading at the very beginning. It took about 30 minutes for me to actually calm myself and start actually going through the exam. So yeah, that was the ugly of my whole bar exam experience, and I can't believe I was almost late to the exam. Especially since I was literally just a block away from the test site. How can you be late being a block away? And the funniest part, I forgot. The funniest part was when I checked out and went to my car to put all my stuff, I literally checked my phone. I was like, I still got some time. So I sat down in my car for 10 minutes, literally doing nothing. Literally just waiting because I thought I was early to go to the test site. I thought it was still closed. Turned out I was wrong. And I wish I could give you some good news, none of this actually hindered my test scores. Well, no, we don't know because I won't find out until November. And that is the reason why it took me so long to make this video, and why so much of my energy was drained, and why I'm still trying to recover mentally and physically. It's embarrassing to say that that happened to me, but it did. We shall see what happens in November. So if you like this video and me just ranting and talking about my experience, and if you want to find out if I passed in November, subscribe. All right, bye.